Good morning everybody, hope you've all had a decent week. We've got great weather this week. We haven't had any rain at all. It's drying up nicely, and yeah, spring is on the way, which is always great. I like that time of year because it means summer isn't very far around the corner as well. Anyway, what have we got for you in this week's update? We have been looking at sugar beet. If you remember last week, I said we've got problems with the sugar beet with the frost, and I had two guys from British Sugar over looking at our field. They're going around inspecting every field that's left to harvest. So we got a look at that, a chat with them about the state of the sugar beet crop generally and what our sugar beet field's like. We've got 55 acres left in the ground. We also have a bit of an update on the house. We've been putting a roof on this week, so that's always exciting. And further updates on the diking and ditching maintenance we're doing around the farm. And I'm going to go through some of the drainage plans in detail with you to show you how we read the plans and how important it is to keep them, and that we're still using them even years after they were put in. So some of these drains have been in 60 years, which some people say they need replacing. But anyway, we'll talk on that in this update. And lastly, we are dressing beans this week. We're dressing our spring beans as well and getting those put into bags. And one more thing, I also went to the Lincolnshire Showground for the launch of this year's school challenge. Those regular viewers of this channel and my videos will see that I do a lot of work with schools in Lincoln and sort of helping promote food and farming in Lincolnshire and the UK in general. And the Lincolnshire Agricultural Society have a schools challenge that culminates at the Lincolnshire Show every year, which is, I think this year, 21st, 22nd of June, or is it 20th and 21st? Anyway, it's that Wednesday and Thursday in June. And so I'm helping the Birchwood Junior School again with the children and trying to get them to understand food and farming, and it's great. I just get so much out of it, and the children are just lovely kids. It's just brilliant to be involved with schools like that. So we'll take a look at that as well. Anyway, that's it. I'm just walking down one of these dikes now. You can see that Barry's done out, so we'll have a good update in a few minutes. You'll see, if you stick with it to the end, about diking and ditching and reading drainage plans. So that's enough from me now. Let's crack on with this week's update. Thank you very much for watching. This is the dike I've just walked down. I just wanted to show you one of the issues we're finding. A lot of our culverts here are blocked with sediment. You can see that's blocked probably a quarter of the pipe. We've got to get that cleared, and then when you come the other side, I'll just show you through there. Just see where the house sits next to the yard. You'll see in a few minutes in the update the roof's virtually on. Yeah, when you're looking down here, this pipe has collapsed. There's a drain pipe out the field. It comes from that field there towards the house. Yeah, you can just see there that pipe has actually collapsed at that end, so we're going to have to fetch that out, those sandbags, which is a shame because they're all built specially to create a nice culvert end. But we're going to have to fetch that out to get this, because you can see it's holding the water up. Just regarding this ditch and maintenance work that we're doing in a minute, I put a video up on Twitter yesterday. Some of you might have seen it. And of course, we've had the environmentalists come on and said we're absolutely ruining the environment, ruining wildlife. We don't care for it. All we care for our own pocket. I think they seem to forget that what we're doing here is helping produce more food that actually ends up on their table, and it helps us import less food by keeping our fields dry, which makes sure we produce more food on this farm and other areas, and other farmers that do the ditches out as well. And they just seem to forget that we've got other areas around the farm where we're doing things for wildlife. Those of you, again, regular viewers will see we're always doing things, and we've got these wildflower margins around the farm, one here, and this in May and June this will be full of flowers. Just because it's short now and bare now doesn't mean to say all year it is. And we've got stewardship areas across there near those trees towards the house. We've got winter bird food plots which also provide habitat throughout the winter. It's Tuesday night and we've got an NFU Sugar online meeting at the minute that Rhonda's organised. Got NFU representative here, NFU Sugar, starting to talk to us about the frost insurance policy that they've organised for us a few years ago. We've got big problems with the sugar beet at the minute. A lot of it's being written off in the field because of frost. It goes all mushy. We'll touch on that in a few minutes in this update. So we're just going to get to grips with this to learn about how we're compensated, how much we're compensated, and so I better pay attention. We've got Matt Evans here, who's our account manager. We're just looking at the situation of the beet in here, and Greg, who is, what are you, Greg?
Ag process lead from
Ag process lead from the factory. So we'll just turn the camera around and have a look at some of this beet and how much frost is in it, or not, as the case may be. just going to lift these out the ground. There we are. And some more. That's it there. Got this special beet knife. So Matt's just going to go down the side there. Now that's brilliant.
Yeah, it's nothing.
No frost damage in there whatsoever.
Yeah, same there.
Same there. That's good. We'll have a...
Yeah, that's fine.
That's all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay. There's a little bit there.
A little bit, but nothing to worry about in there, Andrew. That's pretty typical, really.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We need to find one that's so we can see actually what it is like. But you can just see those viewers looking here when you look at the tops. In the summer or in the autumn, early autumn, there was absolutely nothing. You couldn't see any soil here at all. Now here we are. Matt's just found one. Just seen me cut that. That is a prime example. So when that totally thaws out, it's still frozen, and that will just go all mushy the top and it'll be all gluey. So when we harvest this, we need to be taking a really low crown and chop it right down. Yeah, that's it, just there. Like that, right down there. And you can see we've still got a little bit of frost in the top there, but we've taken most of it off. Is that won't cause the factory too many problems?
That would be fine with a finger's width there. If
yeah.
it was any further, like you saw, without it being crowned, that would be a rejection.
It'd be a rejection, yeah. So we do need to be, but the trouble is, we are going to lose some yield here, aren't we? Because the thing is, when you look at it, those beet we've just seen, which these here, if we overtop these, you're going to lose some yield. Yeah, but that one we've just seen over there, it needs overtopping.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if 99% of the field doesn't need topping, then the odd one that isn't topped isn't going to cause us a problem. It's about proportion.
Yeah.
The majority of what we've chopped there, all the roots are fine.
But you can just see when you look across the field here, it's just got this brown tinge to it, whereas normally it'd be lovely and green. Matt's just pulled another one up, and what's that one like?
Yeah, it's fine.
No, that one's fine. Look at that, nice and white. Yeah, Matt just pulled this other one up. Now, if you look here, you've got two situations going on there. You've got a bit of frost damage in the top, but you've got this violet root rot down in the bottom of the plant. And if you look on the outside, you can see there why it's called violet root rot. And it's at the bottom of that. Violet root rot is caused when you grow beet in too close a rotation. On this farm, we're 1 every 4 years. So normally with our sugar beet, we would lift it and then put it on the concrete for a couple of weeks before it goes in the factory. But I think consensus at the moment is that we didn't ought to be doing that. Is that right?
It is. I mean, there's a lot of damaged beet out there that's significantly worse than this, Andrew. But I would still say, even in this field, we don't really know what the implications are going to be of this second frost at this point. So from a risk point of view, don't put any more risk into the crop. So it would be lifted one day, delivered within 1 or 2 days to give you the best chance of not having any problems.
Right. And sugars, are sugars really low at the minute? Where are we with sugars?
I mean, sugars are lower than they would have been in a normal season at this stage, but we haven't seen any major declines since the initial sugar drop. So yes, they're lower in the sort of 15% region.
Yesterday's sugars were 15%. They were a bit lower earlier on in the week, but they're high 14s, low 15s currently.
So what this means for us, it's a big difference, because normally our sugars are sort of 17, 18. We get very good sugars here, and so we've got 16% as the cut-off point, and so we have an extra so many percent or tons of sugar beet go towards another ton, because we're over the 16% mark. When we're under 16, we're on the wrong side of it.
Absolutely.
And in the factory, Greg, at the minute, what are rejections running at the minute? Are you got many coming out?
So we're seeing an increase in rejections, obviously, over the last couple of weeks. Today we're running about 8 to 10 rejections a day. It's a small percentage, but we are double sampling and we're inspecting nearly every load that's coming into the factory currently. So it is a smaller percentage that is getting rejected. But there are still rejections happening. Right.
And you're going around as well, checking a lot of beet. Are you going around every field that's
every field currently? The account managers are out checking every field and scoring it for frost scoring on a scale of 1 to 5. And this field currently would be a scoring of 1, which is really good. There would be no concerns with any rejections currently with the crop in this field.
But we don't know to put it on concrete. We need to lift it and get get it straight in.
Absolutely, and we're trying to keep the rotation as short as possible on the pad at Newark as well, a maximum of 4 days. Any longer than that, and we're seeing the beet deteriorate quite drastically.
Right. So a bit of an update on the house. We've got the tilers here at the minute putting the roof on. It was felted and latted last week. You saw that, I think. And then here we are, got the tilers started and getting this done. So we'll just nip round the house and just show what they're doing, because it's fascinating. They're doing a great job. So this end is the front of the house, and that faces north. So that's sort of facing the A17. You can just see through there, and Lincoln in the distance. So they've got the top lines all done. I think there's one of the guys just round the corner here, just just cementing up the gable ends. Yeah, you can see that's all done, a real neat job there. And those holes that's in the gable end there, I've got to put some bat boxes up, because we had a bat survey done, and with the trees and everything here, they found a few bats apparently, so we're just waiting for the bat boxes to come, and they go in there. And then we'll just go up this ladder if I'm not in the way. And then that's this end. Get the ridge on tomorrow. Tiles are a bit of a mottled effect, looking nice, half weathered sort of thing. Great view out the back here. Ruben's just put the Bowser on the Puma, and we're going to take it to Bailey's. We just want to extend this platform, because it was always made for an IBC, but when you look at the bulge of the tank comes down here, there's a fair bit of this platform we can't use, and there's not enough room there to put an IBC on. So Bailey's are going to extend this platform here forward a little bit, put a little frame on the edge to stop the IBC moving, and then alter this so all the pipes come down off the floor. So IBCs are the plastic containers, such as those over there. So we want to get one of those in the front, because we have manganese and things in them. So we're just going to put one on the front, and then when Ruben's spraying and Tom follows Ruben around with the Bowser, it's just a lot easier to have everything with you. And obviously this one was what Bailey's made a few years ago. I'll go through it in more detail. See, there's all the valves and the pumps, housing, sprayers. Put all that side of it for us, and the induction hopper on the back. But I'll go through this all more when we're using it. But yeah, that's going to go to Bailey Trailers, and we'll go to Bailey Trailers and have a look at this next week and just see it being done. Ruben's just sweeping the yard. It's got a bit of a mess the last day or two with going backs and forwards around the house. It's quite wet around the back of the house, so we keep bringing mud and things in the yard, so Ruben's just sweeping the yard up. And then we've got those heap of planings that we're going to put through a grader and put on all the farm tracks in the spring and the summer, because the tracks through there need a fair bit of repair work doing, especially after the sugar beet lorries came out at Christmas time. So I'm just down with Barry now, looking at another one of the dikes, and Nala's helping him. And yeah, it's a real narrow dike this. We'll just turn the camera around in a minute and show you the dikes. That's the trouble with some of these dikes. They're so narrow, and that's why we've just got a 10-ton excavator here and not a 13 or a 14. And the reason Barry's had this bucket specially made, because it's a smaller bucket. But yeah, and then the plans, I'll just go through these plans with you as well, and just show you where the dikes are, sorry, where the pipes are in the dike, and these plans, how we read them, and the importance of keeping these plans, because these plans go back to the mid-60s when a lot of this land was drained. There was government grants on around the country, and my father drained all this land, and it was done with clay pipes, and they were done with clay pipes, and they were porous filled with gravel above the clay pipes to within about 10 inches of the soil surface. And of course that cost a lot more money, but it was worthwhile with the government grants that there were years ago doing all the drainage. And some people say drainage systems only last so many years, but this is one of the reasons we need to do all our maintenance here on these dikes and keep them right. But I'm just toying with the idea of getting a jetter in to actually go around our dikes and all our drains and jet the drains, which actually then flushes them out. But anyway, we'll just turn the camera around and look at Barry digging, and I'll show you this drainage plan I've got in my hand here. Yeah, so when you look at this dike, you can see it's getting a bit wider now because there's a river through there. But yeah, you can see this dike's not very wide, and the hedge is growing down the dike bank as well, you can see. But with this bucket Barry's had made, it's really good for turning and getting into the narrow bottoms. Barry's just putting that on there, and then we're going to go out when it's dry. We're going to spread this back out onto the field. That field's got a cover crop in it. It wasn't planted till September, but we're going to just spread that out and then we'll drill through that. Anyway, yeah, just show this. So here where we're going, just the other side of these trees, there's a river, and years ago we planted all these corners up with trees. Makes a lovely, nice area for wildlife, but it's obviously grown up, and you can see we've planted there and left a gap here to actually do this dike out, but it's obviously grown up with suckers there. So we're going to just fetch those out, and then we can get right through to the Brant, as it's called, the River Brant. But when we look, so if I just go back up to this corner, so yeah, this is the River Brant, winds away along, eventually joins up into the River Witham, up beyond that church spire. That's the village of Brantbruton, and you can see the river here winds and meanders up there. And we've planted all these corners up with trees. We've done every corner along here, and it's great for the wildlife. You see another one up there. Really quiet spot. We've got grass margins around all the fields as well, as those of you will know. You can see through there all around these fields here. And there's an old windmill that's been converted into a house there. The white house on the right isn't connected to it, but below it there's a house connected to the windmill below. You can just see, and to the left. Just walked up this dike a little bit, and you can just see there's a pipe there coming out the bank. We've got to clean that out with a spade, and if we go 22 yards or rough meters along here, there'll be another one, and I think this is the one you can see better. I noticed when I walked up. There we go. See that one coming out the dike bank? The trouble is, they normally stick out into the dike, but they've been, and that's not running. We need to just check why, because that ought to be running, I'd have thought. But the hedge cutter snaps them off level with the dike bank, which is the only snag. But when you look at reading these, that is the plan of, if I can put it down so I can see it, that is the plan of this field. So let's just turn it around. There we are. So that's the plan of this field. So all those lines are drains, and where they've got dots against it, you can see down in the bottom there, that says porous filling. So that's how many meters worth of porous filling. So when you look through there, sorry, that's chain, not meters, that's chain, and there's all those dots mean it's porous filling, and the arrows are, that means that's pointing to the way the drains and the water flows running. So a chain is roughly 22 yards. So each of these drains on this map are about a chain apart, so 22 yards apart. And if I turn that map round, that is the level of the layout of the field. So this is the dike at the bottom of this map here that we're on now, down there, and you can just see all the measurements, and that shows the arrows where the drains are running. So they're all running into this dike here that we're looking at, and that squiggly area at the end is the River Brant that we've just seen. And you can see now those drains, if I put that down, so that is a main drain that comes into this dike. So if you look at this, so that one there is the last one that comes into this dike, and then all these drains here go into that main pipe there, and then these ones in this corner drain into that little pipe, which goes into this main as well. And you can just see there in the corner, it's coming out in the dike there. So that will be a 6-inch pipe through there that carries a lot of these, whoops, wind's blowing it, that carries these pipes, and it carries all this end. So that's why that needs to be a bigger pipe going into the dike. But the only problem we've got is that it's underneath. I think it's underneath those trees, and that's the only slight snag, that the pipes can fill with roots if you're not careful. So we just need to make sure and just check that when we get to it. We're now on a Wednesday afternoon, and you can see the roof done all up here, just finished off. This made it a lot easier with the Manitou lifting it up, but just got this low section to do, but we can't do it till we get the scaffolding down and get it felted and latted. Just got a few more to fetch out the yard for here. Oh, the cut-offs and breakages, done a fantastic job of the valley. Right up there. Then round the front, just go underneath here. They're called Santoft, that's the mate, the Flanders, I think, that's what they are, having this mottled effect. Look round the corner. I've just come to the Lincolnshire Showgrounds. We've got the launch of this year's school challenge, which those of you who are regular watchers of my videos on the channel will remember. Last year I went to a few schools in Lincoln, and one particular was I was helping them with the schools challenge. So yeah, this is Birchwood Junior School, and we've got the launch of this year's school challenge. So I'm talking quietly because it's already started. So I'll go in there and we'll do 1 or 2 video clips from there, and you'll see what goes on.
You're here. Come on, Alana. You're hiding from me. You're trying to Alana from Birchwood. And as well. Lovely. Thank you. Hand it to you. Sorry, excuse me there.
And it was just the most amazing experience, wasn't it?
Yeah. You've still got children now talking about it a year later.
Yeah.
So, and the applications we had to take part this year, based on the children that didn't take part last year, they've watched the other children do it last year, and they thought, I want to do that. So we had loads of applications this year based on them seeing the children's experience, so that was really lovely.
Like I said, we're from an area where children have not had this opportunity, so a lot of them have never been to a farm, hadn't seen the animals. So, I mean, on the day, you know, going around the livestock, going around seeing all these different things, it was just, it was the best. Yeah.
Potatoes actually grew, you needed to win.
No. I didn't know what to do with them.
We wanted to make an allotment now at our school, which we are doing, so that's really lovely. The judges were actually really nice. I thought that was really important that we shared that with you, because as soon as I heard judges last year, I was like, but yeah, the children got on with the judges really well, and it was really nice for them.
Obviously, I'm to speak computer with. So LEAF then is Linking Environment and Farming. It's a national farming organisation aimed at helping farmers to farm in a sustainable fashion.
Much more specialist farming taken to grow veg, but these are some of the different crops that we grow, and some of the ones that you might consider on your soil science challenge when you're looking for crops to grow and how the soils might affect the growth of those crops.
All my professional life, I still wake up in the morning and I'm completely and utterly enthused by it. Water's not going anywhere fast, although there are certain places, unfortunately, in the world where it's gone. We're very lucky in this country that we've actually got water.
So I've just met Michelle at the Schools Challenge. Is this the first time you've done this?
It is indeed. We're very excited about it.
Yeah, and you're from Grimsby, so an art teacher.
Yeah, I work at John Whitgift Academy.
And what are you hoping to do for the Schools Challenge?
We're going to get involved with Arts from the Heart, and we're going to build a structure that's made out of recycled, reclaimed materials, but then we're going to be looking at making sure that the ethos of the agricultural society is embedded within that. So what we've come today, we've like networked and investigate what does that really mean, what do you guys want us to know about this local area. And so we've had a little chat, haven't we?
You've taken lots of notes
about what is sustainable farming, and it's been absolutely amazing. I'm so inspired.
Brilliant. Well, I'm going to send you some photographs from our field margins.
Yeah.
We've had a chat about what we grow and a bit about sustainable farming. So we'll see what happens with your sculpture.
Yeah.
You're going to, lots of ideas you've just given me you're going to do.
My brain's like this,
And it's going to be really heavy. We're going to carry it in.
Yeah.
You'll be all right. You'll do well.
We will. I'm really looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Nice to have seen you. It's Thursday morning, got a bit of action going on in the yard today. Agri have just arrived with their mobile seed cleaning unit and cleaning the spring bean seed. We've got 72 hectares we're growing this year, which is around about 178 acres. We've got 19 tonnes of seed to treat, or rather clean and put into bags. The 1,000 grain weight of that was 450 grams or thereabouts, and we're planting 55 grains or beans a square metre to give us around about 40 to 45 sort of established plants if we can. That's where we are, so we're going to have a look at the plant working and see the beans being put into the bags. So this trailer here is used for the screening. We'll have a look at that in a minute. This trailer's got the bean seed in. You can see the smaller ones on the right hand side just there. That's the sort of ones that we need to take out, the split and crack ones, and the pods as well, such as that on the edge of the hand. You can see in there, no pods in there. All the splits and the smalls have been taken out, look really good. And then we'll have a look in the trailer. Sorry for the noise, it really is noisy with beans, but we'll just have a look in this trailer where the screenings and the waste going. There's not many. So that's it. One other job we're doing is this fuel tank. This is the kerosene central heating tank from the old house before we demolished it. We're going to make a frame, and Ian's making this frame for it to sit on, and we're going to use it for heating that new workshop heater you saw. It's actually gone wrong, so we've just borrowed this heater. It's gone wrong and it's gone back to be looked at and repaired. So we're just wondering whether it's the fuel that's causing it, so we're going to burn it on kerosene instead. So Ian's making this frame to sit the tank on. It's a good fuel tank for the burner, for the workshop heater. Not that one, the other one. We've got the oat seed rolled up this morning. It's on the contract with Cope Seeds at Sleaford, but it's in conjunction with Agri. That's where the seeds come from. And these are the naked oats. Haven't got a husk on, we've been growing these 3 years now. So variety Oliver, there's 439 kilos in the bag, and 1,000 grain weight is 23.4, and it's done with a takeoff, which is a seed promoter. You just see in the bag there, but the bag sizes are done according to the 1,000 grain weight, and they say this is what you put on for a certain amount of acres or hectares, but we'll have to change with our seed rate according to what the seed bed conditions are. So I don't like drilling seed and being told how many seeds a square metre to have. I've been told this is a seed rate, so I don't agree with merchants that say this bag will do so many acres or hectares. When you're looking at the 1,000 grain weight, 23.4, of course that's very low if it was wheat, but you can just see how small the seed is compared to wheat. That's why it's a very low 1,000 grain weight. We'll get some out when we're drilling and you'll see the difference. So that's it for another Sunday update. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, which I think will be next Sunday morning, have a great week. Cheerio.